Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. So today I'll be doing something a little bit different. I'll be sharing with you one of my latest watch acquisitions. So let's get into it. So I recently purchased the iconic IWC Mark 17 watch. I was thinking about whether or not to do content about, my personal watch purchases or whether I should just stick to microbrand reviews. But a reader told me that if you were to make, content about your own personal watch purchases, it comes across as more personal, there's more of a link with the readers, with the audiences. And I agree with him. So here I am talking about my latest watch purchase, the IWC Mark 17, and in particular why I bought this watch and why I love it so much. So let's get into it. Of course, the main reason and the number one reason why I bought this watch is because it's a quintessential pilot's watch. When you think of leisure's, one immediately thinks of an IWC pilot watch, the Mark series in particular. Look at that dial. I would say IWC probably, made this dial iconic. Of course, there are other brands that are very well known for their pilot watches as well. We have, Laco, we have Alfina, but IWC is probably the king of the crop. When it comes to pilot watches, I would say that they have no equal. Yeah, just look at how legible the dial is. When I first saw this watch, I was stunned by how legible and how well it read in the sunlight. And I think even in these studio lights right here, you can see how crisp the printing is, how everything is, the numerals, the crosshair indices, etc. I absolutely think that it is probably the best pilot's watch. In general, I would say probably the IWC Pilot series are the best pilot watches you could get. For whatever money can buy nowadays. Yeah, so that's the number one reason why I bought the IWC Mark 17, because it is the quintessential pilot's watch. It is as quintessential as perhaps the Nautilus or the Royal Oak is to the sport watch category. That is how iconic this watch is. Yes, IWC has been making their Mark series, their pilot series, since the dawn of time basically, and this is the 17th iteration. It's the 18th iteration, of course, but the design language has been relatively unchanged. Of course, the case have gotten bigger in certain sense. There have been minor changes, but it looks pretty much the same, and there's something to say in that enduring design. All right, so that's the first reason, and the second reason, of course, sort of linked to that is this is an IWC. Now, IWC is one of the most esteemed and well regarded. I would say it may not be the most exciting watch brand, I'll be honest. It may not be the most exciting watch brand out there, but it's definitely a very well regarded watch maison. And there's lots of heritage that goes behind IWC. It's a brand that has a strong lineage. It's not like some other brands like Bremont or Bell & Ross or Frank Muller. IWC is a true watch brand. So it's made its name in the watch industry. It's a very well respected brand, and yeah, I bought it because it's an IWC. There's that quality assurance there, I think, to the heritage. I mean, some may say it's just what's there to a brand, but to us watch lovers, to me actually, at least part of the lineage, the history, definitely adds to the allure of the watch, and the IWC branding definitely adds to that here. All right. Now, I'll be moving on to why I bought this particular version, the Mark 17, as opposed to, say, the Mark 16 or the newer Mark 18. I bought the Mark 17 because I think it's the best pilot's watch that IWC has ever made. I'll just put it hands down. If you guys know, the Mark 18 is a smaller version. So this is the Mark 17. It comes in a 41mm case size. The Mark 18 is a smaller 40mm case size with, your regular date window. Here on the Mark 17, you have the exposed date window. There you go. And this exposed date window, we have seen some other brands doing it, but I believe they got inspired from the Mark 17. Of course, the exposed date window to me is a bit more unique. It is more reminiscent, or I'm sure it's supposed to evoke the cockpit of a actual plane. That's something that the pilot would stare at. So I really like the exposed date window. I like how well, I'm usually not a fan of date windows. I think they're obtrusive, for lack of a better word, but here I think it's integrated very well, and I think it just adds on and elevates that pilot's design. Also, the Mark 17 is a bigger watch at 41mm. Let me put this on the wrist and show you guys. So I really like the dimensions of this watch as well. You know, again, this Mark 18 is smaller at 40mm. It may sound weird at 1mm, but trust me, it makes a lot of difference on the wrist. To me, a pilot's watch is supposed to be big. Again, going back to the lineage and the history of pilot watches have always been big because they have to wear it. Actually, if I'm not mistaken, pilot watches were first worn, you know, on the thighs of the fighter pilots, because you know they can't risk, you know, looking at their wrist. They are too busy piloting the plane, right, and firing at enemy planes and sort of thing. So they look down their thighs instead, and that's why historically pilot watches have always been on the larger side of things. And here, the 41mm here, you know, is definitely on the larger side of things as compared to the more recent pilot releases. But still, I think on my Asian 7-inch wrist, you know, it wears very well. It's not too big, I would say, just nice. I've tried the chronograph versions of, you know, the IWC Pilot series. I think they're like 43 or 44mm. That's too big for me and too thick for me. Here the dimensions work beautifully. 41mm just right on my 7-inch wrist, and as you guys can see, it's not that thick as well, you know, because it uses a ETA movement inside, so it's relatively slim, a time-only movement. Which brings me back to my last point of why I got the IWC Mark 17 instead of the Mark 18. So the Mark 18 uses a Sellita SW200 as its base, or SW300, sorry, as its base. The IWC here uses the original ITA 2892, I believe, as its base, you know, movement. Now, of course, as you all know, Sellita and ETA, if you ask any watch expert, they will say on paper that there's little differences between the two. But, and you know, in my microbrand reviews, to be honest, I don't really care if it's a Sellita or ETA. They both serve the same purpose. But when you're making this watch had a retail price of what, like 6,000 Singapore dollars? When you're making that sort of purchase at that level, I don't want a clone. I want the original thing. You know, I want an ETA movement, one that has decades of, you know, reliable servicing history, the original one, so to say. I do not want a rip-off, a copy, which is what the Sellita essentially is. It's a very good copy, and some may even argue that it's a better iteration of the ETA, but hey, I want just like how I want the original pilot's watch, I want the original sort of ETA movement out there. So yeah, so that sums up why I love this watch so much. You know, this is my first pilot's watch, and I really like this one. You know, I can't be much happier with my purchase, I think, that I am now. So it really plays very well with the light, you know, it plays very well from all angles. The legibility is simply stunning, and I paired it with a Epsom strap from local strap maker Deluxe, and you know, everything's just very nice. It's very versatile as well. I worn it with a suit, I worn it with a polo shirt and shorts. You know, it really wears well in a wide variety of situations because of its no-nonsense, simple look. Yeah, that's that. So if you like, I hope you enjoyed this sort of like personal story. If you guys, you know, enjoy this type of content, I may do, you know, future videos on why I bought the watches that I bought, or what suits or whatever it is, personal purchases that I buy in the future. So if you guys like this kind of content, do let me know. But yes, I'm very happy with my IWC purchase. It's been sort of a goal watch of mine for quite some time. I'm very happy that I managed to track one down at a very good price. Alright, that's it for today. So there'll be another review coming out tomorrow, so do check that out and do come back to watch the video. And if you like the content, do subscribe, you know, to this YouTube channel. It really help a lot. As always, take care, stay safe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!